Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Many of you have probably never realized this, but I had the honor of growing up in a generation that was very different from this generation today. I grew up in a generation where dial-up internet was really big in homes. So it was all like you get home from school and you go down in your parents' basement and you connect to the internet via dial-up. So it was all like shh, shh, do, shh, shh. And after a 10-minute wait, 10 minutes later, you would connect online, and I remember going to Disney.com and the website being so captivating with all this news. Everything was so up to date. There were all these fun games to play, and 25 years later, the internet is very lackluster. So the only thing people know what to do with their time is create these bogus rumors that lead people to believe a lot of misleading things about rumors involving Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker. What it comes down to really is how much you love and support them. And if you love and support them with all of your heart, like millions of Descendants and Zombies fans do, I know this for a fact because I've been a part of the Descendants franchise for over 10 years creating content. Because all I ever wanted to do was either be a content creator for YouTube or be a radio show host, and I had the honor of becoming both. And through having the honor of becoming both, I had the chance to relate to so many wonderful people. I never imagined that it would come in the form of these videos that I would create on zombie apocalypses and alien invasions, which I believed in more than anything else in my entire life. I've told you guys a lot of funny stories about how I used to lie out on my lawn every night trying to get abducted by aliens, and my mom thought I was crazy because she was a school teacher and she had a very different viewpoint about life and what you had to get the most out of for doing. And I remember saying to Mom when she asked me what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, I said, Mom, either I want to be a pro wrestler and body slam everybody, or I wanted to be a radio show host. And ultimately I chose being a radio show host because it would give me the chance to share with you my story. I've always wanted to either write a book or to be a part of a movie like Descendants and Zombies, to be everybody's favorite action hero, because I think being everybody's favorite Descendants and Zombies character would have been so cool. To fight Dracula in a battle to the death, or ride Transylvania horses through the forests of Transylvania in the fog, and take on thousands of zombies coming at you from the left, from the right, every single time the action bell would go off. Let me tell you guys something. If you guys have ever wanted somebody to put his heart into a character for Descendants and Zombies, I would do that for you guys because I would often think about what can I do to bring this character to life. I've often had a greater appreciation for people who get paid to sit behind a microphone. I would do it for free, nonetheless. But I've had a greater appreciation for people who can sit behind a microphone and bring characters for franchises like Tangled and Frozen to life. I remember the first time I saw Frozen and thinking it was so cool that a snowman just wanted to be embraced by warmth and receive a warm hug from somebody. I thought it was the coolest concept ever. Just yesterday I saw Hoppers. Now the animation we're seeing and the stories we're seeing is very different from generations that were prodded by Tangled and Frozen. But I remember the rarity of people like Mandy Moore and Adana Menzel, who brought characters like Elsa and Rapunzel to life, and just how appreciative they were of them. I think if that same appreciation was shown by the characters that are produced in this generation about a decade later, more people would have a reason to believe in Disney more than they ever had before. That's why I say we should give more opportunities to people like Kylie and Freya. And how we do that is by showing them an undeniable amount of love and support. Because undeniably, to me, they are some of the strongest people ever, and I think we can give them more encouragement and show them more incentive than ever before, because no matter who we are, we all have a story about how we became a fan of Descendants and Zombies, how we all had a chance to be a part of something so special. And I've had the chance to share my story with more people than ever before, and to be heard and seen by more people than ever before. You guys have often heard me carry with me a greater appreciation for every fan of Descendants and Zombies. There has never been a video where I have never said thank you to the fans who have made me the person that I am, or have put me in the position that I am in. I have always had a greater appreciation for every fan of Descendants and Zombies, and I've always wanted you guys to know that you will forever and always hold a very special place in my heart. And we would get to the point where we would see Zombies 5 happen, where Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland will become a reality for us, because there are going to be far more characters and far more beautiful stories and chances for us to experience this in ways that we never imagined possible. Because the way I see this is, we've formed an inseparable bond because of Descendants of Zombies. I think one of the greatest honors that a content creator on YouTube could have is forming a connection with his audience and creating content that his audience has come to know, love, and appreciate through the years. And I've been able to do that. I was one of those fortunate YouTube creators who was able to resonate with more people than ever before through sharing my stories with you guys about Ruby Rose Turner and Kylie Cantrell and how I thought they were some of the most beautiful people ever who deserve more credit than ever before. Because I know how people like Perez Hilton and Logan Paul have felt over the years. Just recently, I watched one of Logan Paul's podcasts. It's called Impulsive, and he made a comment about Berserk, and he was pretty much making comments about Kylie Cantrell that he had no business making. And it got me to thinking about all the criticism, constructive criticism as they say, that Kylie Cantrell was receiving, and I wanted to do something about that for forever, long before I ever heard people like Logan Paul and TMZ making comments about them, because I think when you actually give them a chance and you see how much of an inspiration they have become to so many wonderful people, that's what makes what you do as a YouTuber or a content creator so worth it, because you support them. You will forever take bullets for them. You will forever stand in front of a train for them because you see something special in what they do. I would love to have the chance to write Kylie Cantrell's story in a book and be the co-author of a book for her, because I think that having the chance to either write a book or a memoir would give them a chance to let people know who they truly are, because I think that oftentimes you see them perceive an image that the record label or what Disney wants them to come off for having been. How many times have we ever had the chance to be introduced to them for the people that they are, for them to have a chance to share their story with us? I think if we really had a chance to have them share their story with us, we would have a greater appreciation for them. I remember years ago when they were filming Hannah Montana, and on the set of Hannah Montana they had to attend public school, and I remember how Emily Osment was going through one of the most difficult times in her life, struggling with the pressures of entertainment and struggling with trying to make a name for herself within that industry. And I remember how supportive everybody was of her. There were millions of people who loved her with all of their heart, and I ultimately believed that's what got Emily Osment through. I couldn't help but feel really bad for Emily. I wanted Emily to know that she was going to be just fine and that she was doing a wonderful job, because a lot of people in that industry, in that generation that we may have been a fan of, never were given enough credit. They were pretty much just put in front of the camera, told what to say and how to act. And I know that Dove Cameron went through her fair share of trials and tribulations, and she couldn't wait to get away from Disney because of it. But I think what it comes down to is how much we love and support them. I've seen an undeniable amount of love and support that you guys have had for Kylie Cantrell for forever. I've seen how much characters like Ruby Rose Turner's character Bridget has meant to you in the Descendants franchise. And even though her time was very short-lived, her contributions will never ever be forgotten. You guys have often heard me say that Ruby Rose Turner will forever and always be my favorite Descendants of Zombies character of all time. And the reason why she will forever and always be my favorite Descendants of Zombies character of all time was just for how kind she was, how sweet of a person she believed she was, and the value of appreciation for friendships and life she's always carried with her. I have often credited Ruby Rose Turner for making people that she's worked with better people, and how just dedicated she was in everything that she ever had the chance to be a part of. I will never ever forget Ruby Rose Turner and how valuable and how precious she taught me that life truly is. Because you see, the thing about time is, we never know how much time we have, and often the question resonates with us: what would we do with more time if we had it? Will we go back in time to fix some of the mistakes we've left unfinished? Will we go back in time just to tell people that we loved how much we loved them and how much they've held a very special place in our hearts for what feels like forever? And I know for many of you that it feels like Zombies 5 is never going to happen, Descendants 5 is never going to come to pass, but it eventually will, because what you've got to wait for are budgets to be approved, scripts to be developed, character traits to be exemplified, and once that all comes into fruition, Descendants of Zombies is going to be something far greater than ever before. I know a lot of people are going to be a lot older with Zombies 5 and Descendants 5 eventually comes out, but the thing is, when it eventually happens, you're going to think back on the first moment you saw Descendants of Zombies and how cool it was, and how cool this moment is that you're going to have the chance to share them with your friends. There are people up as high as 25 years old who watch Descendants of Zombies. I never knew it, but I quickly realized that there is no specific age demographic that Descendants of Zombies appeals to nor attracts. I think that no matter who we are, we all have a story that relates to Descendants of Zombies, that gives us more of a reason to believe in these franchises than we perhaps perhaps ever believed in them ever before. I have always thought Kylie Control was the most beautiful and the strongest person that I've ever had the chance to profile. And if there ever was one person that I could give a chance to more than anybody else of this generation, it would have to be Kylie Control. She's going through what she's referring to as the power era. And I think we can all find time in feeling more confident about what the power era exemplifies. It involves Kylie Control becoming a childhood actress, going from a childhood actress into an adult, more mature type actress, and she wants everybody to understand where she's coming from and how she feels. I've often seen Kylie Control go through these emotional breakdowns in these TikTok videos, these YouTube live videos, and I just wanted Kylie Control to know that her contributions will never ever be forgotten. I would love to be that one guy who stands on the stage 24 years from now at the Disney 23 Expo giving Kylie Control the award for going down in history for being the greatest content creator of all time, because in all honesty, guys, she has really given up her life for this industry, as many of them have. You know, I've heard so many conversations about how people like Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson from Twilight would go down in history for being some of the greatest of all time. But then it got me to thinking about Descendants of Zombies and how much contributions they have given to us over at least the last 10 years. I think that their contributions will never ever be forgotten. They've truly given us something special to believe in and hold on to, and as long as they continue to do that and show much heart and dedication in what they do, I think forever we can have these conversations about how people like Kylie Control and Freya Sky have the chances of going down in history for being some of the greatest of all time, for how much their friendships have meant to each other, how they've been there for each other every step of the way. I think we can feel more confident in the futures of these franchises because they're there for each other. And years ago, we never saw this on the set of Hannah Montana. We never heard it talked about on High School Musical because it was pretty much kept hush-hush. But the thing is, guys, seeing these friendships put on display, there's something that I can't do without, and that's definitely seeing these friendships being put on display for how much these friendships have meant to them and how it's helped them get through everything they've had to deal with, because what they've had to endure is truly unbelievable. And the one thing I wanted you guys to know is that we have a lot to be excited about. Given how big of a summer 2025 summer was, 2026 summer is shaping up to be one of the greatest of all time. We have Descendants 5 with Wonderland's premiere coming out. We have Zombies 5 coming out in the summer of 2027. They're filming it in New Zealand currently right now, so that's going to be really, really cool seeing them go back to New Zealand and retell the story from a new perspective, from Nova and Victor's perspective. We've never seen an in-depth, detailed look at these characters ever before, because what Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires was setting us up for was the embarking on a new journey to tell the story behind a new franchise, and I think that's going to be something to be really excited about, to see this story told for the first time ever and get to know characters like Victor and Nova a whole lot better. You know, there's such a history with Daywalkers and Nightwalkers, and I can see why there's so much of a confusion from these critics. It's pretty much a duh kind of concept, but when you really think about what a vampire and a daywalker truly is, there is such a lore that goes back hundreds, if never thousands of years. You know, Blade from the Marvel comic books was a vampire that was half human, and it was because Blade's mother was bitten by a vampire named Deacon, and he inherited the traits of a daywalker. And I remember how revered that comic book was when it was first released. I had one of the very first copies of Blade many years ago, and Blade still is one of the most cherished franchises of all time. But that was the first time I ever heard the term daywalker used. And seeing Disney trying to tell its own version of what a daywalker and a nightwalker actually was, it really helped bring a whole new story to life for the Zombies franchise and allowed it to secure the future of this franchise, because you just don't have to focus on, say, zombies, werewolves, vampires, and aliens. You can expand it to mermaids, pirates, sirens, witches, goblins, trolls, you name it. It can be a part of Zombies. I've heard people say such ridiculous things as, oh, they're running out of supernatural forces to introduce into the Zombies franchise. They have done anything but run out of supernatural forces to introduce into the Zombies franchise. There is so much of a supernatural lore to believe in and to really give a chance. And with new characters, seeing their introduction into this franchise all the time, it gives us more of a chance to believe in it than perhaps ever before. And it's something that I'm really excited to be a part of and to share in with each and every one of you. I know I may have went through a phase where I thought everything on TV that I saw was real, from pro wrestling to movies to sci-fi shows, you name it. I thought everything that I saw on TV was real. But you know something? That's what's allowed me to bring these videos to life and continue to be a part of such a wonderful franchise franchise and to be a part of such a wonderful era. I never imagined that so many people would be well received of these videos and give these videos such a huge response. There are people liking these videos every day. There are people subscribing to this channel all the time, and I can never seem to say thank you enough. Maybe it's had something to do with how my voice has been associated with this franchise more often than enough. Maybe it's had something to do with how I've told this story and how I believed in the story with all of my heart. But I can tell you guys, whatever happens to me, I will never ever forget how much you guys have gone on to mean to my heart. You guys have held a very special place in my heart for a very long time, and I love telling you these stories about how I thought my next door neighbor was a vampire. I had it all planned out. I was going to get him before he was going to get me. I thought that this person might have been a zombie, because oftentimes in school, when you would be attending high school, there would be more people zombieing out than I thought ever given credit for. And I thought more people that I went to school with could have been credited for being zombies. I think that Descendants of Zombies has really made us think of our own lives, the situations and perspectives that we put ourselves in. And Descendants of Zombies allowed us to find our way out of the darkness and back into the light, because it helped us make sense of everything going on around us. You know, we became everybody's answer through sharing our stories about how we were fans of Descendants of Zombies, because every fan of Descendants of Zombies felt differently, and it brought us that much closer together, giving us the chance to have our story heard and seen by more people than ever before. The one thing that I've always encouraged is that if you want to be a content creator on YouTube, even with how challenging it is, you should never hold yourself back from being a content creator, because it will give you a chance to have your story heard and seen by more people than you ever imagined possible. I can tell you from firsthand experience that I've had the time of my life creating thousands of videos. I thought this channel originally might have 100 videos uploaded and probably get 1,000 views, and this YouTube channel has exceeded all of my expectations, with over 100,000 channel views plus having happened and 4,000 people having subscribed to it, because all they ever wanted was for somebody, he or she, to share their story with you. And it just so happened to be me. And lo and behold, you guys will forever and always have me. That's the reason why I moved into a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant. Because if I was going to give you something special, I might as well go all out and bring these videos to life. I invested over $4,000 behind this YouTube channel, and I've had no regrets. I haven't looked back. I've really had the time of my life. And I got to tell you guys, having the honor to grow up in the late 1980s, early 1990s, I was a millennial, so that means I grew up from 1986 to the year 2000. So as a result of being a millennial, I can share with you more stories than anybody ever could, because many of these content creators who upload these videos probably are between the ages of 16 to 25, and I think that if you're a millennial, it gives you a chance to share more stories than ever before and really put your heart into the videos, because the one thing you've got to do is you've got to put your heart into every video. You've got to hope for the best and put your heart into every video. With me, what you see is what you get, and I've always loved being that way, because it gives you a chance to have your story heard and seen by more people than ever before. Because even with how big this universe seems to be on times, there's always that one girl who will forever hit your subscribe button because she loves Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart, and because they've never quit on the stories of Zen and Edison. They have never stopped believing in Victor and Nova's story that has yet to be witnessed. And I'm just really excited to be a part of it with each and every one of you. I remember how excited you guys were for Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires. Millions of people, if never billions of people, couldn't stop talking about it. And you guys were forever excited to be a part of something so special. And I felt more than honored to have had the chance to be a part of that something special with all of you. It gave me a chance to have my story heard and seen by more people than ever before, because when you push go live or push record for every video you record or every show you have the chance of hosting, you never know how many people are going to listen or how many people are ever going to watch. And this YouTube channel has at least one video every night finding its way out into the YouTube homepage or finding its way out into the YouTube algorithm, because you guys have believed in it with all of your heart. So it comes back to you and how well received you have made these videos. Over 11,000 views having happened for this YouTube channel in less than 1 month. That's 28 days. That's not even 1 month. That's about 4 weeks. 3.5 weeks. 11,000 views, setting a new record for this YouTube channel and having us seen a new milestone. Thank you so much, guys, because you could have chosen anybody else's YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, but you guys have forever chosen this one. And it's become my greatest honor to share with you my stories about vampires, werewolves, aliens, zombies, apocalypses, alien invasions, and all my favorite fairy tale characters, because I've had such an appreciation that comes with the lore of fairy tale characters or the supernatural. Because if you ever wanted to be given a chance to believe in something special or even magic, Why not open up your own magic shop? I've wanted to open up my own magic shop for years, or believe in the supernatural that much more, or believe in your favorite fairy tales, which do have happily ever afters when you even least expect it. Guys, thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. I will return just after sunset. I will come back one final time with a brand new video with more stories about Descendants of Zombies that I can only hope we will all be here for and we will all continue to relate to. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and as always and forever, thank you so much for having watched this video. It's been my honor to create all this wonderful, relatable content, and I've honestly had the time of my life relating to more people than I ever imagined possible. Thank you so much for having had Descendants of Zombies mean so much to each and every one of your hearts, and as always, thank you so much for having watched this video.